everyone. Hi, good evening. So, first of all, how many of us do audit?
All of us.
Very good. So, then I think this is so much relevant for us. How many of us have received some notices or something from some department? Asking for information, asking to be present, summons, something or the other. No? All okay. I think everyone is like here, if you haven't. Yeah. So what we are going to discuss today is, I think we all are on various chat groups, WhatsApp groups, we have CA Club, and so on and so forth, right? So every day in the morning when we wake up, good morning message seems to be for others on the WhatsApp, the good morning message seems to be with a pot of flowers, with a bouquet of flowers, some good plants, or some sun and everything. Whereas the good morning most of the time seems to be, there was a penalty of 500, there was a penalty of 2 lakhs, there was a penalty of 50 lakhs, barred for 1 year, barred for 2 years, isn't it? Hasn't it become a common feature these days? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So this is basically based on my experience, knowledge, and as part of legal, when I'm handling so many things on responding to the regulators. So this is based on my experience, that how do we interact and how do we actually talk about when we are talking about Companies Act. So there are various regulations and we are subject to auditor can be summoned, auditor can be called, and things like that. One of the things in section 206 is of the Companies Act. So today I think the whole day we are discussing about Companies Act, various aspects of Companies Act, and one of the most important aspect comes here. Because we as practicing chartered accountants, we as practicing CSE, we have to be ready and we have to know what is to be done. Right? So generally what happens, as soon as a notice under 206 comes to someone, first thing is like, oh my God, why did it come to me? What have I done? Don't you get that first question inside yourself? Or that feeling, what next? Then the next thing, read it, call someone, क्या करना है इसका? Next क्या? Okay, इसने ऐसे बोला, उसको call करते हैं, उसने ऐसे बोला, उसको call करते हैं. Do we do that or not? Yeah. Then we find out the best way, and then we start looking at what are the things that needs to be done. So I thought, let me compile something that will all be useful to everyone, because we all are going through this, and there are more and more notices to come. Right? Why I am saying that? As we all know, NCA's form approval system is now like income tax, right? CPC. It has shifted to Kolkata, isn't it? And what does that mean? 60% of the RD ROC's time is freed. What does that mean? More and more inspections, probes, detailing, explanations, statistical extractions, right? It can be private limited. So there is a thought that always comes to many people that, okay, I am not doing a listed company. Okay, I am not doing a public limited company. Nothing will come to me. But is that true? Is that true? No. You can come to anyone, private limited, public limited, listed. If it is listed, it will come from 4 places instead of 1. That is the only difference. MCA will send, SEBI will send. If it is a regulated company, then RBI or RDA also will send. So there will be 3 to 4 instead of 1. NFRA will send. Instead of that, you have only 1 place. That's the only difference, isn't it? So notices are going to be a common feature, regular feature, and we all have to be aware of. We are always lost in our day-to-day work, right? Return करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, hundreds of things. We are lost in our day-to-day work, right? So what is it that we need to think of? Let's understand section 206 first. So this section pertains to power of register of companies to call for information. What is information? What is information? Inspect books and conduct inquiries. Call for information. So how does 206 start? We'll look at that as well. This section actually provides the framework to ROC to ensure compliance and transparency in the functioning of companies. So it can be suo moto or it can be a triggered one. How does it get triggered? Okay. Basically, why this 206 is laid down? If you read the notes to the Companies Act, so there is always notes to the sections, right, whenever an act is made. So when you read the new act, I would always read the notes to the act first, like what is the purpose, where is it coming from. So that is in order to promote transparency, ensure accountability, compliance with the legal framework, report on the inspections that are made, protecting stakeholders' interest, enhancing corporate image and reputation and all that. So that's the purpose basically. Okay, what happens? How does the inspection or inquiry start? It can be suo moto. As we are aware, all your annual reports, financial statements, everything goes in XBRL. Yes? So there are already exceptions written, there are various algorithms written from which you can read out the exceptions and you can generate an exception report. Correct? So out of that, then either registrar can suo moto start the inspection inquiry or there can be a trigger. What can be a trigger? Some bank telling them that he has not paid my dues. He is not giving me information. Please, जाके उससे पूछ लो. Okay? Some interested stakeholder or someone else in the name of public interest also many a times. They will just ask ROC that please look at it. Now ROC doesn't go and start the proceeding only on someone saying. If they find a substance that yes, we have to go ahead on this, then they will start the process. So when the ROC, so first what happens, they will look at the financials, they will look at the underlying details, everything. A query sheet or a question sheet will go to the company. Maybe 10, 5, 6, whatever. So there are two types. एक कंपनी को जाएगा 15, उसमें से बोलेगा 5 ऑडिटर से आंसर लेके आओ. That is style 1. Style 2, 10 here, 5 here. Okay? Style 3, 5 here, 5 here, same question, want to see how do you respond and how do you respond. तो ऐसा पता है वो प्रिंसिपल को बोलते हैं कि लेट हो गया, गाड़ी पंचर हो गया, अलग अलग रूम में आओ, कौन कौन सा टायर पंचर हुआ बताओ. वो वैसे बात. अगर उसने राइट बोला और आपने लेफ्ट बोला तो सब टायर पंचर हो गए. Right? So they will call for that information either in any of these three formats, together, individually, or same questions both sides. अभी इसमें करना क्या है? This may not be relating to last year. This may be relating to 2 years ago, 3 years ago. As we all know, we have to keep the information till 7 years from the date of audit report. Right? So 7 साल के पहले का कभी भी पूछ सकता है और कितना information पूछ सकता है. Who will decide? He himself will decide. The RD will decide. Right? वो डिसाइड करता है कि कितना चाहिए. कभी कभी कोई एक एस्पेक्ट पे क्वेश्चन पूछता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर उसको इन्फॉर्मेशन मिला है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जीएसटी, अदर डिपार्टमेंट्स कैन ऑल्सो बिकम सोर्स ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन. अगर किसका जीएसटी में प्रॉब्लम है, जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट इसको बोलेगा जाके इसका बुक्स देखो, आप भी देखो, आपको भी मिलेगा. तो वो शायद रेवेन्यू ही करेगा. कोई लोन, बैंक बोलेगा बोरोइंग लोन, तो उधर ही देखेंगे, नहीं तो कभी कभी पूरा भी देखते हैं. ओके, सो जब भी मांगेंगे कितना इंफॉर्मेशन मांगेंगे, यू डोंट नो. देयर मे बी 10 क्वेश्चंस, देयर मे बी 15 क्वेश्चंस, एंड देयर कैन बी अ सिचुएशन वेयर पूरा बैकअप लेके आओ मेरे पास, पेन ड्राइव में, डिस्क में, लैपटॉप ले दे दो मेरे को, ठीक है, सब डाल के लेके आ जाओ. Anything can happen. And same is the case with auditor also. 5 question, 10 question, give me all the working paper also. सॉफ्ट में है पेन ड्राइव में दो, नहीं तो लैपटॉप में दो, हार्ड में है सारा फाइल ला दो. Okay? So, it is very necessary for anyone who is going to submit the information. So, first thing when the things come, when the notices come, first thing, please read it word by word and very detailedly, sit down, highlight, mark, read it completely thoroughly. That's point number one. Second, generally it comes with like 12 days, 13 days period to answer. Assess whether you will be able to answer it in 12 days, 15 days. Very important. Okay? If you feel, no, I will not be able to answer it within 15 days, ask for extension. Extension generally is given up to 21 days. Generally. You can get up to a month, but generally it can be till 21 days. So first thing, read the notice thoroughly and then ask for extension as required. If you feel there is nothing major, only 1 or 2 points you will be able to answer, please answer. Now, there are different modes how people respond to any notice. Okay? Different styles, different modes. I am not saying what is right or what is wrong. One, someone may be aggressive, they will hold back, they don't want to give many information. Someone will be too soft and submissive, someone will be balancing the two. Give whatever is required, maintain a good tone and cooperation, but don't be too aggressive and don't be submissive. So all three exist. I am not saying what is right or what is wrong. You can pick your style. But as per me, best style is be factual, be curt, and be assertive. You don't need to be too much submissive, you don't need to be aggressive. The problem is if you go aggressive, many a times it heavily backfires. You must have seen that NFRA order which said that, they tried to call that person, call that auditor. They summoned him. They gave 3 opportunities. He never turned back. Maybe he didn't have anything to produce. So they passed a ex parte order because he never turned back. There was another case where actually he just argued and argued because there was no substance in between. So somewhere I think ego got hurt or extreme situation was taken. There was another case wherein the non-compliance was there, but then the person said that okay, I will kind of redo the things and then I will learn better, give me some time. So they went a little bit softer. So situationally I don't know what works well, but going too aggressive may always harm, many a times, right? So whatever is your style, adopt your style and then respond. Now how to respond? Point by point, go factually, whatever is asked for, right? Give references of auditing standards, Companies Act, whatever is required. For example, now we were talking about disclosure. If say one disclosure is not given because it was immaterial, then your response should incorporate standard on auditing, materiality, schedule 3, guidance note, paras, and then you have to conclude that okay, this is not material, that's why it is not disclosed. Right? So the way of drafting also has to be giving the factual correctness and giving this. If something is factually incorrect, there is only so much that you can do. Right? So there you will have to think about what is to be responded and why did you take that stand. Was it a mistake or was it deliberate that something you have taken a stand. Sometimes it so happens that accounting के लिए सारे business doesn't follow accounting standard, right? There are many cases जहाँ पे accounting standard में उसका ये नहीं रहता, treatment नहीं रहता. You have searched for, you have taken a certain stand, you have to explain what you have done, right? And then you will have to respond. But एक बार extension लेने के बाद, you should ensure that you are responding within that time. Correct? If you don't, then it is, again you will get another notice. If you don't respond, then ex parte order can be passed. So respond within that time. Now after response, what happens? Two things. Either it will go further into further detailing, or it will come to certain stage of discussion. So first is written questions, then second level is always summons. Okay? One word of caution. Many times you get calls. You get only calls saying that ये दे दो, नहीं तो summon भेज दूँगा. There's nothing wrong with the summons, right? What is summons? Go there, speak to them, give them whatever they want. Verbal inquiries, if you are giving the information, company may sue you saying that you have divulged with confidentiality because there is no request from the other party. So you have to be very careful there. If you are giving in terms of verbal request. But if you have a written request like तीन का मेरे को answer दे दो, you can just reframe the answer and then you can give it. Next, when they summon, what happens in the summons? Anyone who attends income tax matters, representations?
And they record the statement.
Yeah. They will take you on oath, okay? Normal oath taking, and then they will take the details from you, and then they will ask you the whole story about the incident. Say, for example, if it is a fraud case or if it is a something on the books of account, they will ask you the entire case. Then they will type it out. They will ask you to read, sign, and then you will come back. After that, what happens? That is when the RD passes an order if he has all the information. If he doesn't have the information, there are many cases that it is not only restricted to statutory auditor. The summoning power actually is to all the consultants also. And the full-time company secretary, if you are full-time secretary or if you are a practicing secretary who is providing some help, internal auditor, external auditor, consultant, valuer, anyone can be called for. Okay? So, providing these documents, information explanation documents, before you go for the summons, what is necessary? Please read the case. Okay? Please understand, because it may be a 3-year-old thing. You may not remember everything. So when you go there, it is not necessary that you sit across and blabber everything at one go. Whatever question is being asked for, please answer that. And then, if you are being asked for extra questions which you are not prepared for, you can say, I don't remember, I'll get back. I'll look at it and get back. In a hurry, don't give wrong answers. That's one thing we specifically actually advise. In a hurry, don't give wrong answers. You can borrow time and then you can look at the documents and then come back. If that means a second round to the ROC, so it will. It's better than giving the wrong information. Right? It so happens that when you are talking about some cash or something, there may be a question that what is the source of the cash. If you don't remember, then please borrow some time and then go later and then give that information to them. Now again, there are two ways of looking at this. One is whatever they are requiring, you are providing because they are taking all these things as evidence. If they are framing a case against the company, for example, they are taking all these things as an evidence. Okay? What is the outcome? Outcome is there may be an order that will be passed imposing a penalty on the company, or they don't have right to impose a penalty on auditor. So where does that go? Where does that go? I'll say disciplinary committee, or it can go to SFI also. Okay? Or any other body, like the way I gave an example that GST से यहाँ पे आ सकते हैं, यहाँ से GST, RBI, कहीं भी income tax कहीं भी जा सकते हैं. Right? Now there is a problem in the profit. Please look at the income tax payment. There is a problem in the turnover. Please look at the GST. Right? तो यहाँ से रिवर्स भी जा सकते हैं. जैसे वहाँ से यहाँ आता है, यहाँ से रिवर्स भी जा सकते हैं. If one notice comes generally, after some time another one comes. So you will have a series year, second one will come. Maybe after 6 months, third one will come. But they are all on the way. Right? Because when the RD finalizes the order, he has to conclude that whether his inspection has yielded any results. Then he submits to the central government. Central government then decides whether this should go further or this case is over. If it has to go further, they have the authority to send it to respective people. In a worst case scenario, if they think that there is something seriously problematic here, they may file a case in the local district court or civil court, jurisdictional court basically, local jurisdictional court, against the company or against the respective CACS consultant, whoever it is. Right? So in the valuation case of a large company that happened, there was a court case also. Right? Because RD filed a disciplinary issue with the ICI, they simultaneously did a court case also against the company as well as the valuer. Okay? And in another case, they filed a case against the internal auditor. So, registrar has all these powers to do all these things. And the information is not generally restricted. It is like they will ask for everything. So, when they go to the client's place or when they go to the company basically, they take entire backup, means they'll take the laptops itself, computers itself, take it away. Okay, all the backups. And then if they find anything over there, then that is when the additional notices, additional things will start. So that is possible. So all this information when we are giving and all these explanations when we are giving. Another word of caution is basically when you are giving your reply as auditor, it is not meant to be known to the company. Okay? So you can't officially write your responses, share it with the company, please dekh ke de do. Okay? And they can't do that. Because they are asking the company as a standalone, they are asking the auditor as a standalone. They want to know what is the problem. So that the respondents has to be completely avoided. You are giving your perspective as an auditor. Another thing is, if an inspection, inquiry 206, whatever starts, then those books of accounts, or sorry, not books of account, those working papers relating to that audit or consultancy work, whatever you have, please do not destroy within 7 years. That you will have to continue to hold till you get a clean check. Right? Because things may not come in 2 months, 3 months back to you. It may come after 6 months. So you have given answer, you have given reply. Then you think like, okay, छूट गए 6 महीना हो गया कुछ नहीं आया, I am happy. एक दिन अचानक से आता है, आ जाओ समन्स के लिए. फिर वो समन्स भी करके आ गए, मन बात कर लिया, he seemed to be convinced, he is happy, उसको सब जवाब दे दिया मैंने, I am so happy. फिर obviously that week, 10 days, 15 days it blooms on your head. After 3 months you will forget. Obviously you have other things to worry about, you have better things to worry about. You start on that, and after 8 months something else again comes up, or some case will appear somewhere. You know, so that's the thing, and that is why till someone gets a clean check, you are not supposed to destroy those working papers for that way. Related thing is when they ask for extract of working paper. Okay, many of us maintain in soft copy, hard copy, whatever. Okay, so you have to make an extract of that working paper that existed. Do not create anything new. That will completely go against the person. Okay, have a good system of documentation. Archive the documentation, put it aside when your work is done, and when something is asked for, retrieve from that and give it to them. Because timestamps will be looked into, contents will be looked into, when is it edited will be looked into. So all these things will be looked into. Do not attempt to create anything new. that is the most dangerous thing that can happen. That they ask for some information and something that they are getting in return is like it is prepared now. So the integrity of the whole matter will go in a different direction altogether. That they didn't have anything, abhi mujhe bana ke de do. That impression should never get created, right? So whatever you are giving, another thing is here, when you draft the responses, you can use someone, you can take help of someone who is experienced in this, or you can go for a legal help also. Okay, you can take legal help also. Now when someone goes for the summons, it is allowed to take a lawyer. Okay, you can go, your representative can also go with you. You are allowed to take a lawyer. But a piece of advice here, at the first instance, let us park the lawyer. Because it will give a different impression to the other person. पहली बार में lawyer लेके आ गया, मतलब कुछ तो है, right? It's human mind. At the end of the day, the other person is also a human being. छोटा केस है, मीडियम साइज केस है, पहला हियरिंग है, उसमें ही वो लॉयर लेके आ गए, मतलब कुछ तो अंदर पड़ा है. If it's a very large case, yes, it makes a lot of sense to take lawyer and go with you because it matters what you speak. The company may be big, the things may be at bigger stake, but still there also first summons is just taking a little bit of story. People generally avoid taking lawyers at the first instance. Once you understand what is it that the other person needs, what is the angle that at which they are looking at, then yes, make your preps and then second time you may be taking your lawyer. Okay? So you have to make your own choices. Nothing wrong in taking it the first time, nothing wrong in taking it the second time, nothing wrong in defending yourself. Whatever is the best choice, you can actually opt for. And the amount of information that you are giving. So whatever you are giving, if they have asked, generally they ask you for like, give your response, then only give your response. Extract of working paper, if they are asking, they will ask for soft copy. आप सॉफ्ट कॉपी कैसे देते हो? पेन ड्राइव में दे सकते हो, डिस्क पे दे सकते हो, बट उसका एक कवरिंग लेटर जरूर बनाओ. जब भी हैंड ओवर करोगे, आई हैव गिवन यू दिस, एंड वो पेन ड्राइव के अंदर भी इंफॉर्मेशन ऐसे अरेंज कीजिए, उसको एक इंडेक्स लगा के इंफॉर्मेशन हैज टू बी अरेंज्ड. एंड व्हेन यू आर गिविंग, यू हैव टू गिव अ कवरिंग लेटर, टेक एन एक्नॉलेजमेंट, राइट? Every time that you go, they will mark an attendance. If they are not marking an attendance, if you don't meet the officer that day, please drop an email after you come back. You had made a summons. I had visited your office to meet Mr. So and so. Okay? However, waited for so much time, could not meet. Just that. Thanks. Make it an acknowledgement that you were there. Sometimes it has also happened that someone called, the person waited for 3 hours outside, he was not called inside, and then after waiting for a long time, people all went away, he went. So he got another summons, we had called you, you never came. Okay? If they don't take an attendance and if they don't entertain you, if you are waiting for a longer time and if you leave because of your other commitments or because of whatever is the reason, please drop an email. I was here, I came to meet Mr. So-and-so, however could not meet. Please make it a point to acknowledge. And whatever you are handing over, please take a receipt of whatever you are handing over. Right? Always consult before you go in with someone whom you know. Someone is experienced, someone is not experienced, someone is of legal help. Please do consult. Please bounce off with another person. Because sometimes we write certain things knowing that I am the one who has done the audit. I will write every story the way I understand. But he is an independent third person. If I give it to him, maybe his understanding of what I have written may be completely different. So it makes sense to give to read to someone or consult someone who will actually help in this space. Right? Now, after the order gets passed, what happens is that everything is clean, nothing is to be worried about, fine. Or else, it goes to the disciplinary committee directly. So disciplinary committee basically can treat this as an information under section 21D of DC rules, and then whatever documents has been sent by ROC along with their covering letter will land up and say please explain. Okay? And then there will be after one explanations, two explanations, additional working papers, whatever. 1, 2, 3 rounds may happen, and after that, prima facie opinion will come that nothing is there, or it goes to a hearing stage. Then the hearing stage, depending on the bench, which is the region and bench and things like that, then the hearings will happen and the order is concluded by disciplinary committee. Okay? That is this way. Now if it goes to SFIO, and SFIO starts its investigation. Again from start, they will start asking you all those questions that were asked earlier and additional questions and more details. And then summons of SFIO happens not once but at least 3 to 4 times, 2 and 4. At the end they may conclude that whether it is a fit case, not fit case. Again they can then close the order or send it to DC or file a case. Okay? At every stage there are these 3 branches that can happen. Close, DC, case. Close, DC, case. Okay? So this is the common flow of this entire stuff. And you know why more and more awareness is required? Because it is the firms who are not able to maintain very good documentation have a higher risk. Because something that is 4 years old, 5 years old, it may be difficult to find on their server, in the hard copy, in the soft copy. I am not saying that they don't maintain, but whoever is not maintaining documentation, you know, whether it is smaller, medium, larger, any size, doesn't matter. If you are not maintaining documentation, if something comes after 3 years, 4 years, where will you search? We all have staff turnover. Yes, no? Yes, continuity of staff is always a question. There may be 4-5 people in the office who are continuing. Other than that, like आज आए अगले हफ्ते मतलब 6 महीने में कोई छोड़ के जाता है, 1 साल में कोई छोड़ के जाता है, right? We have very high staff turnover. Everyone works according to what they understand. कितना भी हम standardization कर ले, हर कोई अपने तरीके से काम करता है, right or wrong? These are the problems that we are sitting on always, right? And हम ऐसे सोचते हैं बहुत बार कि ऐसे डॉक्यूमेंट हुआ रहेगा, तो जब हम खोल के देखते हैं वो चीज को, ऐसा रहता है क्या? What is the percentage that it will stay like that? Maybe 20, 30, 40%.
My bad guess.
Yeah, it's right, 30-40%. Have you ever found that whatever you have done is done, whatever you have taught your, all the people, staff, that it has to be documented in this way, and then when you open, you are very delighted that it is 90% there? No? And many of us don't have time to see at the period end that whether everything is documented or not. Is that true? Yes? With all these problems, if something comes after 3 years, imagine the situation. There can be only panic. और क्या होगा? कौन किया था वो टाइम पे? वहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है. कौन था वो ऑडिट पे वो टाइम पे? किसने फाइनल किया था? राइट? वहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन वहीं से आता है. नहीं वो था, वो 6 महीने बाद छोड़ के चला गया था, उसने यहाँ डॉक्यूमेंट डाला था, वो ये वाला चेकलिस्ट उसने नहीं, इसने भरा था. ऐसे होता है ना? And we are searching for everything. So we need to have a very good documentation system in today's world to be ready to face this. And this is not going to be a far off reality. It's happening. It's everywhere. Everyone is receiving and everyone is getting. The number of things, inspections, the number of queries, questions, disclosure issues that have been issued by the RDs, ROCs have increased by 43%. Okay? So there was a discussion on what data government processes, how much they have the power to actually, if they are still not doing it, the way they envisage to do it, if they do it, then everyone will have a flood. ऐसे बारिश है ना मुंबई में ऐसे आएगा सबको, ऐसे इतने सारे. Yeah, but the freeing up of time is done with a purpose, right? The freeing up of time is done with a purpose. Income tax में भी same हुआ. Many of us have seen that from shift of manual processing of forms to CTC, and then auto notices, and then faceless, and then increase in the number of escalations. Then again it will settle down. But then there will be like that. It will be like that, right? The curve will go up and then come down. But it will take time to come down. Right? So that's how it is. So the most key and the fundamental and the foundation is we all should have a very good documentation so that 2 साल 3 साल बाद कुछ आए तो हम घर पर के ढूंढे नहीं कि किसने किया था, कहाँ रखा कहाँ है, वो शेल्फ में कि वो शेल्फ में. Right? We have to have that register, we have to have good amount of documentation, we have to have backups, we have to have archival systems, and we should be able to produce the information. That case that I mentioned in the NFI order, that they kept issuing summons to the consultant or the auditor as the case may be, and he never responded. 1, 2, 3, 4 आए नहीं कभी. क्यों? मेरे उसके पास बोलने के लिए कुछ हुआ नहीं, क्योंकि समन लेके कोई ऐसे ही थोड़ी बैठा है, right? There may be nothing to present, or it may be a different case. He understood that yes, there is a problem. Either way, I don't know the case, but then whatever is written in the order, based on that I am saying, sitting on 4 summons is like actually killing us. Right? So this is in gist. I thought let me run through the entire process irrespective of the PPT. I think this is the gist and this is the way it happens. And what is necessary is prudence, presence of mind, and also looking at how the things are done and what are others doing. We have to come out of our shell and maybe we have to compare. If it is an industry standard practice, we can quote that also. In our responses have to be technically correct. It has to have references on Companies Act, SEBI, LODR, auditing standard, Ind AS accounting standard, IFRS, whatever. But what we have to put our best foot forward is in terms of technically correct responses. This is disclosed here. Why? So you should be able to define why. Another thing is when you are too much beating around the bush and you are not coming to the point, the other person will simply understand that you don't have anything to say. You're just going round and round, merry-go-round. Right? They will say that the person is not able to explain the query that has been asked for. Then they will consider that you don't have anything to explain. If they are asking about loans and advance, and if you keep talking about how the loans and advance accounting happens, but rather than the balance and whom it is given to, what is the approval procedure, they'll understand, okay, it doesn't have anything to say about it. Then it is easy to summarize that the query raised for is not answered in particular. And that goes against the person. Okay? So that's how the procedure, everything happens. They can make copies of books of account, other books, papers. They can tick, tie, mark anything that they want. If they think necessary, if it is fraudulent or unlawful manner, if they feel that it is being done, then they can actually start another round of investigation into it. If any company fails to furnish the requisite information, and they can fine that person, they can put a penalty on that person, they can bar him from being a director. That has also happened in the recent past. Someone didn't cooperate, so they called him on summons, and then he went on summons, and actually he shouted at the ROC people very badly. So they banned him to be a director for behavioral aspect. That also has happened. So you know, a number of cases happen. Then there was another thing that, you know, consultant went there, and then he gave some information. Company was asked for similar information. Both information never matched. So both were, you know, consultants' thing went to ICI, and then the company was penalized. So many things keep happening, and it's not. That's when I said that, you know, there is an aggressive approach, there is a submissive approach, there is a balanced approach, factual plus assertive approach. You are the best person to choose the approach. There is nothing right or wrong about it. How you want to go about it is always your choice. And also, while responding, some people write pages and pages long responses, some people write short responses. Okay? Again, that's a drafting style, that's the way of responding, that's your best choice. Lawyer style of writing is different. Our style of writing is different. They want to, sometimes when you appoint lawyers, they want to flip the coin completely on the other side, and they want to accuse the other person. तुम्हारा छोड़ो, उसका पहले निकाल दे. Right? I don't know how much it will work. Sometimes it may work. उसने मुझे डराया, मैंने उसको डराया. Set off. बट डराने से कुछ नहीं होता, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट तो नहीं डरने वाली ऑब्वियसली. उसको डरा के कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So we have to be more factually correct. If something has been a mistake in disclosure or something, for example, so you say that okay, we will discuss with the company and then go ahead with the next year, instead of just fighting tooth over nail saying that nahi aisa hi hona chahiye, aise hi hona chahiye. If it is a factual mistake, then we can accept and go ahead as well. So what is the best approach depends on the issue, depends on how much the issue is, bigger, smaller, involves fraud, not involves fraud. Okay, that's a very important thing. And the third important thing, we have a principle in the Companies Act, right? Whether it is prejudicial to the interest of the company, that principle always prevails. If something is done as prejudicial to the interest of the company, that will land any person in a problem. If things are not prejudicial to the interest of the company, then it won't be a problem. And generally in case of private limited companies, because it's a closely held, because it's a, you know, husband, wife or brothers or things like that, unless they have a dispute, such question won't come. तीसरा चीज 206 क्यों आता है, लार्जली क्यों आता है? दो जन भाई भाई रहते हैं, दोनों डायरेक्टर रहते हैं, ठीक है, कंपनी थोड़ी बड़ी हो जाती है, इसको लगता है कि वो मुझे पैसा कम दे रहा है, राइट? उसने थोड़ा पैसा डाला रहता है, बदले में वो ज़्यादा पैसा मांगता है, व्हाटएवर, फैमिली डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है, फिर बाद में वो जाके 4 चीज़ें लिख के रजिस्ट्रार को कंप्लेंट कर देता है, ये कंपनी में ये गलत हो रहा है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन करो प्लीज. उसमें नोटिस किसको आता है? ऑडिटर को. तो जहाँ जहाँ झगड़े वाला कंपनी है ना, डिस्प्यूट है ना, वहाँ पे वन स्मॉल पीस ऑफ एडवाइस, प्लीज गो थ्रू द डिस्प्यूट एंड इफ पॉसिबल qualify those line items which are in dispute, not as a benchmark. If there is a dispute on those items, qualify or put an EOM, whatever, bring it out in your audit report, depending on the situation. EOM may not be the best place, and if the case is sub judice, then EOM may be the best place. You will have to be able to defend, क्योंकि dispute वाले cases 90% तो खुलते हैं कहीं ना कहीं, और उसमें ऑडिटर को अंदर खींचते ही खींचते. ऑडिटर को खींचे बिना डिस्प्यूट खत्म ही नहीं होता. बुक्स उसने बनाया, उसका मेरा बात नहीं सुनते, उनका बात सुनते. वो मेरे भाई है, उन्होंने उनको इन्फ्लुएंस किया, इसने सब साइन किया, मेरे को लॉस हो गया. अभी उन पे भी केस, इन पे भी केस. ऐसे भी केस है जहाँ पे भाई भाई में झगड़ा है, लेटर ऑन वो तो सुलझ गया, ऑडिटर पे केस चल रहा है, यू नो, वो लोग ने तो सेटलमेंट कर लिया और कंपनी से भी पेनल्टी तो आ गया, उसके ऊपर 2 लाख कुछ पेनल्टी आया, वो तो खत्म हो गया, बट उन लोग ने डीसी को रेफर कर दिया, तो ऑडिटर के ऊपर तो केस चल रहा है ना. सो वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल इन टूडेज वर्ल्ड. गॉन आर द डेज व्हेन यू नो certain ways of doing things used to be different. Now we have to be alert.
Ma'am, have you actually come across any cases wherein the insolvency professional would have approached ROC or RD for not providing the information
Yes,
to
yes.
the management, the company under which IBC?
Yes. So there have been a case where the IB has gone ahead and filed a case with a ROC saying that auditor is not providing, the previous auditor is not providing his books, his working papers. Yeah. So there the ideal reply is that working papers are my property, my discretion whether to provide or not. You are not a regulator, you can take it from the company, and and if NCLT asks, I will give you.
No, when it comes to the information related to books of accounts, NCLT has hardly any prerogative on it. It is an ROC who
Yes,
supposed
yes.
to come in the picture. So IP generally have been approaching to ROC where the companies who are under IBC have not been providing the information. So how do ROC is been taking care? Are they
So
finding
ROC
out
sometimes
that
passes an order that please give relevant information. If ROC tells that the company or the auditor, whoever it is, will have to provide. Because then that overrides the confidentiality clause in your engagement letter also. Because engagement letter always says I will not provide to a third party. So IP is basically a third party. Without company's permission, I cannot provide to third party. But a regulator I can provide. If ROC gives an order saying that please share your working papers with the IP, then we can share.
IP is not a third party, it is
IP
appointed
is
by
not
the
a
court.
Third party in the
It's a court
sense
officer.
earlier it was the agreement between the company, that is the management and the auditor. Now IP is the new management. So the confidentiality clause is binding.
It's not between the management and it's between the company and the auditor.
No, it's not like that.
No,
It's
that's
between the company
precisely
and the
what I am saying, that the earlier company, what I meant by management is that, see now there is company ABC, there is a director A, there is the director B, and then there is a management. Okay? Auditor is appointed by company ABC, and then there is a engagement letter between company ABC and the auditor. Okay? Now the company is under IP. All the board of directors, everyone is don't have any power. IP comes into picture, auditor also changes. Now if the IP asks for our working paper as previous auditor, it is not binding on me to give. Even for the same company, if next year the directors ask for our working paper, we don't have to give.
Working paper, of course not.
Yeah. If the company is not giving information to the IP, and if the IP is going to ROC, ROC sometimes passes an order or gives a letter stating that please provide with all the information. And sometimes IP includes auditor also.
Yeah, we do
That ask auditor also to give me information. Okay? Then if ROC tells us to give information to IP, then we give. Otherwise, as per confidentiality clause, the auditor is not bound to give his working papers and his backups to the company. And many a times IP is right to auditors that give us backup of books of account. Right? So auditor is not supposed to have backup of books of account. Then they threaten also through legal, saying that if you don't provide, we'll file a case against you. There is no case against the auditor for backup of books of account. Right? Auditor is not supposed to have backup of books of account. No, we have seen, there have been cases where IT has threatened, saying that I will take legal action if you don't provide me backup of books of account. Why will the auditor provide backup of books of account? Ask company. So legal to legal reply is, we are not supposed to maintain books of account, please ask the company. Right? So, auditor is many a times, auditor or the consultants is many a times used as a hub of information. When client cannot find something, तुम्हारा वर्किंग पेपर में तो होगा ना, लास्ट ईयर दिया था ना, आया दे दो. So auditor is not supposed to be that hub of information. And if all that is being given free of cost and without discretion, there is a risk. Because your working papers are to ensure documentation as per your SA 230 and for your regulators, maybe ICI, QRB, NFI. It's not for public distribution. So we have to exercise that. And if without there can be a reverse case. Valuer comes, company itself says, okay, इसको information दे दो. Auditor gives them. Tomorrow there is a dispute in the company. They say they have breached the confidentiality. इसने मेरे से रिटर्न रिलीज नहीं किया information देने के लिए. केस करो auditor पे. This also happens. So use your discretion. If at all you are giving additional information to anyone, get hold harmless letter signed that I am sharing on the basis, and hold harmless letter has to be a tripartite agreement between the company, auditor and the third party who is taking the information. Get the hold harmless done. So I am giving on the basis of your instruction. I am not responsible. You can use it, don't rely on it. Up to you. Right? And whenever you give a release, another aspect is you can ask for more fees because you are actually getting more risk in. Logical? Yes? But we generally actually keep giving as if we are standing on a station and distributing pamphlet. तुमको चाहिए ले लो, आपको चाहिए ले लो. That's not the way it has to be because you are bound by confidentiality obligations. And breach of confidentiality is law of the land. It is not only governed by the contract terms, which is your engagement letter. It can directly go to the court. Breach of confidentiality, right? Because as auditor or as consultant, you will have privileged information which is otherwise not available in the public domain. If you are parting with it, then it is a problem, bigger problem. So these are the powers with the registrar. So we discussed all this very much in detail, right? So after getting all these things, then so that is the action that they can take. Report on inspection made, initiate inspection, then prepare written report, submit to central government, recommend to other regulatory authority, that's what we said, income tax, GST, whoever, or to the disciplinary committee of ICI if the auditor or the consultant, whoever is the practicing chartered accountant has some issues there. Central government then reviews the report, and then if it deems necessary, then it can get into an investigation mode. अब तक जो हो रहा था वो सिर्फ inspection था, ठीक है? Then central government when it gets into, it can go into an investigation mode, and investigation mode is far more heavier than inspection mode because they go into every detail, they get into everything that has happened, they come and sit in the company, and they will be asking for all the details from all the related people. Involving appointing inspectors, using other regulatory this thing, and then they can actually take legal proceedings, as I said, send it to SFI, also take it to legal proceedings as the case may be. This is what we discussed. Responding to the notice, always respond to the notice, ask for extension, and please ensure that you respond within the time. Then compilation of information, compile all the necessary information, read it, be ready with it. Submission to registrar on timely basis, company as well as the individual. I have written from both the company and this side. Inspection verification, if it pertains to inspection, then provide everything. If it is inquiry, make those people available to discuss as part of the inquiry also. This is from the auditor side, or the, you can say auditor, practitioner, whatever. Responding to the information notice, again providing information, producing of documents, and assisting in inquiry. Now, one of the things that 206 also says that if someone is found that he is flouting the norms, deliberately not cooperating in or assisting in the inquiry, he can also be penalized or complained against. That is when I gave that case that he went on the summons and just screamed at everyone over there. So it's deliberately for the behavioral issues they penalized him and said that you can't be a director in any company for the next 5 years. So they debarred him as a director. So such things also. So someone is interrupting the inquiry, deliberately affecting the inquiry. All these things also can go wrong. Yeah. Maintaining proper records, we discussed very much in detail about that. Timely response is essential. Accuracy, transparency. Please ensure that whatever you submit is appropriate, accurate, and it is in timely manner. Okay. Please think, rethink before you submit. Get it read by someone else also from an independent perspective. Confidentiality, we so much discussed about confidentiality. So always keep in mind the confidentiality clause. Anything may amount to breach of confidentiality. So while giving information to anyone other than a regulator or OROC, always use confidentiality and always use the hold harmless letter. This is when information is received by 21 under 21D by the DC. Receipt of complaint. They will ask for information 1 round, 2 round, 3 rounds, whatever they want. Then they have prima facie opinion. Then they have the zone-wise disciplinary committee, and then the inquiry process, then the recording of the entire hearing, then the action of the findings, and then ultimately the submission of report, council's decision. Then anything goes against anyone, you have appeal process also. So I thought since it is in a flow, we will run that as well. Okay. So this is the disclaimer that I gave at the beginning also. Everyone have their own way of handling the things. This is based on whatever you can say experience, understanding of the way the things have to be. That's what it is. Any questions here? Any questions here? Yeah, so I think we had to discuss 143.3. So just not very much in detail, but only the nuisances of 143.3 we can discuss very quickly, as it is 5:10. So we can discuss very quickly. What are the things that one has to do while reporting under 143.3? 3 common things. First point is read the report from the start to the end and then end to the start. What do I mean by that? You have a main report, you have 143.3 section, you have RO report, you have IFC report. Right? Yes? So we have to read the report from start to end and end to start. Why? Exactly, correlation of things. What can happen is that IFC can be disclaimed, but then somewhere the effect of that disclaimer or the qualification is not seen on the main report, whether it is affecting the 2 and 10. Second, CARO, there are different clauses. For example, there are 2 clauses that are common. One is going concern, right? And few of these 143.3 clauses also. You can say they can impact. So it's common to see that उधर गोइंग कंसर्न में कुछ नहीं, बट मेन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में मटेरियल अनसर्टेनिटी ऑन गोइंग कंसर्न, या फिर रिवर्स, वहाँ क्वालिफाइड और यहाँ एनयूजीसी पैरा नहीं होता. ओके, 186 में मेजर प्रॉब्लम रहता है और फिर वो मेन रिपोर्ट को अफेक्ट ही नहीं करता है. राइट? सो ऐसी चीजें वी हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ, एंड देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ केसेस. दिस इज फर्स्ट. Second is, you have to read the report from top to bottom also. Why? There can be matters which we are saying, ऊपर हमने qualified opinion दे दिया, वहाँ पे इंडेक्स qualify कर दिया, for example impairment not done. Okay? नीचे आके ये clauses में भी आना चाहिए ना. जैसे ही qualified opinion आता है, इसका structure बदल जाता है. You have to say except for, right? Wherever applicable. इम्पेयरमेंट 133 यहाँ पे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड वाला जो क्लॉज होता है, ऊपर इम्पेयरमेंट क्वालिफाइड होता है, नीचे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड आर कंप्लाइंट. चलेगा? नहीं चलेगा. इम्पेयरमेंट अगर क्वालिफाई कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जांपल टेकिंग द सेम वन, बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट भी होना चाहिए, क्योंकि एंट्री वाला तो मालूम नहीं है. राइट? तो कितने क्लॉज अफेक्ट होंगे वो जानना बहुत जरूरी है. गोइंग कंसर्न, अगर गोइंग कंसर्न मटेरियल अनसर्टेनिटी डालते हैं तो गाइडेंस नोट में ही लिखा है कि नीचे वो आपको एडवर्स इम्पैक्ट वाला जो सेक्शन है, एक पॉइंट है ना 143(3) में, ये वाला एच, सॉरी या एच वाला,
F second.
नो हियर, any qualification without addressing mark relating to the, sorry, yes, F, I'm sorry. So anything that has an adverse effect on the functioning of the company, going concern देते ही यहाँ पे आना चाहिए, वैसे मतलब इसका गाइडेंस नोट में ही लिखा है. So ये चीज़ें हमको ध्यान रखना है बहुत ज़्यादा. देन ये जैसे कि इम्पेयरमेंट वाला बात किया, तो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड वाला पारे में हमको क्वालिफाई करना है, राइट. नाउ कभी कभी कोई चीज़ पे इंफॉर्मेशन इज नॉट प्रोवाइडेड. फॉर एग्जाम्पल IFC रिपोर्ट में रहता है, इट मे नॉट अफेक्ट द ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू ओपिनियन ऑफ द मेन रिपोर्ट, इट्स पॉसिबल, बट देन कंपनी इज नॉट एबल टू प्रोवाइड अस विद से परचेज रिलेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट्स. सो यहाँ पे वो आना चाहिए, राइट. It may not be impacting the true and fair view opinion. You are still able to do the alternate procedure. You have done that, concluded. But अगर वहाँ पे डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं मिला बोल रहे, तो यहाँ पे वो अफेक्ट होना चाहिए. So the point is how much you are correlating everything between all the reports. Whether you are reading it in the right fashion, and these mistakes are very, very common. Third important thing is that many times practically it happens. बहुत सारे फॉर्म में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, अपने टीम में बच्चे लोग को बोलते हैं ऑडिट रिपोर्ट निकाल के अच्छा वाला बना दे. वो क्या करता है, TCS इन्फोसिस का ही उसका लेवल रहता है, वहीं से डाउनलोड करते हैं, राइट. बहुत सारी चीज़ें प्राइवेट लिमिटेड को अप्लाई नहीं होती. फॉर एग्जाम्पल ऐसे 720 board has prepared its minutes and given to us. Board report has been given to us. Private limited के लिए तो आपके पास ऑप्शन है, you can say I have not received, I will not read it, right. वो उस लेवल पे बनाता है और हम लोग डिस्टिंग्विश नहीं कर पाते, राइट. बेंचमार्किंग किससे होनी चाहिए, that is important. Clauses बराबर है क्या, कारों में clauses है क्या, is a different thing. But what are you writing in the report is more important. बहुत सारे जहाँ पे प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे में यू गो बैक एंड चेक, वहाँ पे ऐसे 720 का क्लॉज, वी हैव रिसीव्ड एवरीथिंग, वी हैव रेड, एंड देयर इज नो इनकंसिस्टेंसी. यही रहता है, बोर्ड रिपोर्ट कहाँ मिला रहता है. और क्यों रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना, जब स्टैंडर्ड खुद ही बोल रहा है कि एनुअल रिपोर्ट नहीं बना रहे हैं और फिर बोर्ड रिपोर्ट आपने नहीं पढ़ा करके लिख सकते हो, तो आपको क्यों बोलना है कि मैंने पढ़ा है, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, राइट. ये तीसरा चीज़ है, बेंचमार्किंग आप किससे कर रहे हो is very important. नेक्स्ट थिंग क्या, कारो में क्या होता है, कभी कभी 25 क्लॉज होते हैं, कभी कभी 14 क्लॉज होते हैं, राइट. नंबर ऑफ क्लॉज होता है, कोई एक दो एडिशनल रिपोर्टिंग भी करवा देता है ना. सो इफ यू हैव दैट, यू नो व्हाट इज टू बी रिपोर्टेड, हाउ इट इज टू बी रिपोर्टेड, इट इज वेरी इसेंशियल, बिकॉज 143(3) में आपका कारो भी आता है. सो when you do the Caro reporting, obviously it's a separate, clause by clause is a separate session, and what are the problems there is different. But then the Caro reporting actually doesn't flow in the way that it has to flow. And main report में annexure 1, 2, 3 हो जाता है, क्योंकि ऑडिटर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कोई annexure 1 में डालता है, कोई अंदर डालता है. और जब भी ऑफिस में छोटे बच्चे लोग कॉपी करते हैं, ऑडिट रिपोर्ट कॉपी करते हैं, नेक्स्ट वन छोड़ देते हैं, उसमें ऑडिटर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता ही नहीं है कभी कभी. ओके, तो अनेक्शर 1 होता है, कभी कभी ऑडिटर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, IFC 2 हो गया, कारो 3 हो गया. तो कभी कभी 3 अनेक्शर होते हैं, कभी कभी नहीं भी होते. कभी आपका कारो 2 होता है बट वहाँ 3 होता है, क्योंकि वो कॉपी के ऊपर से 3 आए ना, तो 3 वैसे गए. कभी 2 होता है, कभी 3 होता है, परमिटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन. You have to be very careful on all these things. Then coming to this branch office. So in one of the seminars, I think RBI का NFRA RBI seminar, the NFRA chairman said he had that list in his hand. He was talking about branch auditor. this is what branch auditor has done, for example. In so many cases, branch auditor has reported that there is a problem or there is a qualification, but the main auditor has not even taken it. Okay, how you incorporate the branch report is also very important over here. Wherever it is applicable, if there are different branch auditor or wherever it is applicable, this also becomes a very important thing. Another point, your consolidated financial statements. Standalone पे भी report होता है, consolidated पे भी report, right? So when you are doing consolidated, you are supposed to give this for the group put together. So there are n number of mistakes when you compare the standalone and the group, because subsidiary होता है, but then वो standalone का ऐसे ही छाप दिया होता है, parent का ही छाप दिया होता है. So that's another problem. If company is incorporated, subsidiary is incorporated in India, then you will have CARO also. Otherwise, you will have to write that para saying that no, subsidiaries are not in India, so console में इसमें कुछ impact ही नहीं है. और अगर होता है तभी भी वो guidance note says that only adverse things have to be reported. So that additional clause has to come. That is missing in most of the cases. Yeah. Adverse effect. Adverse effect we talked about going concern. If there is any other thing which actually you can see that there is an adverse effect, actually generally there is a qualification. So qualification by its nature itself is material. So if any qualification is there, it is an indicator that it may have an adverse impact on the functioning of the company. Maybe. Not all, but maybe. Every time you have a qualification in the report, you have to definitely think about this. We can't leave this. We have to definitely think about this. Director disqualification is the most common one. But what happens here is that, COVID period and after COVID period, there are n number of companies which has not filed annual report in time. And that has continued for more than 2 years, 3 years. Have you checked that those directors are not actually getting disqualified? There have been 2 instances recently where there was no qualification here and then a penalty of 50,000 on the company was there. And then for improper reporting again the case was sent to DC. Okay, so we have to be very careful. Maybe he is a director in a private company, but he is also a director in a public company or some other company where that 164(2) kicks in, disqualification kicks in. So that is why your related party schedule is very important. Where all he is a director, what all can have an impact on your company. If he has not filed there, he is a director who is disqualified. So there are 2 views that exist here, right? This clause does not apply to private limited company. However, if a director is a director in a public limited company and a private limited company, and if he is disqualified to be a director, right? So it is conservative to report here, because if we don't report, then it may come back on us. That is how this may get kicked in. Yeah, maintenance of books of account. Again, whenever you have qualification, this is another point that has to be thought about, talked about. And when you have qualification adverse disclaimer, you will have that except for everywhere. Then you have to thoughtfully think where you have to delete that except for. Okay, in most of the cases that is the case. IFC, we all know about IFC, but then what is the impact of IFC? That is the reverse impact of IFC on the main accounts is something that will be important to know. And pending litigations, this is very interesting. They say no pending litigations, there are, but balance sheet में contingent liability भी रहता है, litigation का list भी रहता है. Okay, so this again has to be thought about very carefully. Material foreseeable losses, generally it is applicable wherever you have construction contract or if you are trading in FLO. IPF is a very simple one and this is a age-old one, nothing new in that. Then this is, as you know, there had been many sessions on this itself, right? I give you money, you give to him, he gives to him. Again, it comes back to me. So the everyone in the chain had to report, whether you are a receiving party or you are a paying party. This actually also it was mentioned in one of the some meetings or some conferences, I don't remember. This data is getting collated at the back end. It will come in a year. This has been introduced 2 years ago, right? This is the third year that he reported. This is there from 2 years. This impact will come out after 4 years. How? Because you all are companies. There is an auditor for all of you. I gave him money, he gave it to you. Ultimately, it came back to me. Whoever is a receiving party or a paying party, everyone has to disclose this in the notes to accounts, and auditor has to report. Now, does all auditors talk to each other? Now, these are not maybe group companies. These may not be related companies. Do all the auditors talk to each other? All the 7 people? No. Even if one person in the chain reports, it will trigger both ways. That you said that you have given money to him. Why you didn't say you have received the money? Then they will ask the source. Why you didn't say that you give him the money? Right? So that will trigger. This is a chain that is waiting to explode. You can't guarantee. It may have passed 5 hands, 10 hands, 7 hands. I don't know. Not all the auditors talk to each other. And some may take, some may be knowing about this very much, reporting it properly. Some may not have known. Some may have missed reporting. But everyone comes out when one loose end gets pulled out. Right? So, in some conference, I don't remember, it was told that this is something that the data is getting collated. It will come out after 3 years.
Transactions takes place at the management level where only 1 or 2 people are involved in each company. Auditors are not at all involved, but auditors are managed by individual companies.
Whatever it is, we can say that auditors have not given adequate information, but the clause says that you have to
I
inquire.
have seen ample number of cases. Auditors are managed.
If they are managed, then they will have it
All
later.
these things, you are at least said that this will come out.
Yeah.
Will explode.
Yeah, it will explode. It is a time bomb that is sitting to explode, and when it explodes, it will have multiple casualties. It will not have single casualty. It will have a chain of casualty. And this one. Yeah, last but not least, there are a number of permutations, combination here. Audit trail maintained at individual level, database level, entity level, application level, and so on and so forth. So there are different types of reporting that has happened. If you collate few reports and if you read, I think you will have an interesting read there, because there are many types of permutation combinations that have come. Many people have said that it is maintained at the books of account level, it is not maintained at database level. Some people have said, no, database level also it is made, everything is compliant. Some people have said 3 applications don't have the backup. Someone else has said that, it is maintained for a period, but then not for the full period, so it is as good as not maintained at all. So this is something that has a lot of varieties, and it is still to settle down. This is settling down. As of now, all people are actually looking at is collating different versions, and your guidance note also has different versions of reporting. Pick and choose what suits you. Option 1? नहीं, option 2. हाँ, इसने भी वही किया, उसने भी वही किया, तो चलो option 2 जाते हैं. So that's what is happening right now, but it will settle down. So here, simple one word of caution is that if you have any kind of simple softwares which cannot provide audit trail, not enabled throughout the year, enabled after 10 days, 15 days of the start of the year, everything gets qualified. If you have a pirated software, then obviously answer is simple, right? No audit trail. So I think some of the nuances in this 143.3 is what I tried to cover. That brings us to the, I think, close of the matters. Any questions?
Just 2 observations.
Yes.
In the inspection part,
Yeah.
there are several cases where inspection is done on the company. And similarly, as you said, 5 questions here, 5 questions to auditor.
Yeah.
The company over a period of time compounds the offense and gets away with it. And the auditor's case will go on.
Yes.
Now, the learning from this for all of us is number one, an inspection happens and the company is giving a reply. The auditor is being consulted and let's sit with them to say, understand what reply they are giving. We may not share our reply, but this has become very common. Company compounds get away with it, and the auditor is still answering questions of RD level or at the magistrate courts level also.
Yeah, civil code level.
And the second observation you mentioned about, where inspections start. Earlier it was people telling now XBRL algorithms are there. There was a faculty at one of the WSC seminars where the inspector was also a faculty, one of the senior inspectors. So he mentioned that he doesn't have to wait for any information or complaint to come. It seems he runs a command on a system which says which company habitually files its forms late. Like a director's appointment, even if it is filed 1 second late, 12 बजे का date है, 12 बजे 1 second गया, then the system ticks off that company that this is habitually late filing. Because that's my first target of inspection, is just the sharing information. Because without any complaint, they'll come and say this director का तुम ऐसा कुछ कर रहे हो, then of course next is audit. So these two observations I see. Hopefully.
Completely agree, and first point is, both the points are very, very relevant, and first point is something that actually someone raised a point in the High Court also in one of the cases, that there was a debarment of the auditor for 5 years or 7 years, and also a 30 lakh penalty something on an individual practitioner. Say for example he has been practicing from 25 years. Do you think he has ready disposable cash of 30 lakhs to pay that? Number one. And his earning is by the source of his profession, you're barring him for 10 years. So that means his life ends there. The next option that he's got is Bada Household, right? Is like you are ending the career of a person, and for the company all you have done is apply, impose a 5 lakh, 7 lakh penalty, then he is walking away.
And the
So
points
there
are,
have-
sorry to mention, the points are only for disclosure deficiency.
Yes.
It's nothing major.
Nothing major. So there the case was specifically, I think it is yet to be decided, but the case was specifically on the point of natural justice. Where is the natural justice? Principle of natural justice. Number one, financials have to be prepared by management. It is audited by us. Okay? There are these kind of deficiencies, disclosure deficiencies or whatever that has happened. So, who is the first party who should be actually billed upon? Agreed, company. What is the penalty that you have paid? 7 lakhs. Why 30 lakhs on an auditor and 7-year department? His life is over, right? If you are putting 30 lakhs and a 7-year ban, what will he do? So, there was this kind of a case. I think it's still going on. It's not yet ended, but that's precisely on natural justice. That's exactly what sir pointed out, which is right also, that adjudication and compounding ये सब हो के 8 लाख 10 लाख 15 लाख में खत्म हो जाता है कंपनी में केस, बट ऑडिटर का वैसे नहीं होता ना. So this imbalance also needs to be corrected.
There's something that as a profession at the institute level also we should take it up. Because
Yes.
it doesn't help any one of us.
Yes.
It doesn't happen also, that's what he's saying, once it goes to DC,
So then it's gone.
case doesn't end.
Exactly.
So the
That's
case
what I'm
directs to
saying. There has to be some kind of getting together. Individually nobody is able to win the fighters. Collectively as a profession, if this something is taken up, that company gets away with compounding and the auditor goes on. I mean, where does this come from?
Yeah. So that is where the
It's all
question of
starts with
natural
inspection, that's why it's there.
Yeah, that is where the question of natural justice is there. Now, where is the natural justice? It has to be balanced both ways. On one side of the balancing the piece, you are putting something very heavy, and on the other side is just a feather that will fly out. And for the company paying a 6 lakh penalty is nothing. Yeah.
And there are cases where for IB, the company has gone through IB, it's dissolved, everything is done. What is the case charge?
Interesting things happening, but two things very, very essential before I completely conclude. Always make an engagement letter with necessary clauses. Please go through the implementation guide of SA 210. Or the Center of Audit Quality Directorate has released an engagement template. Please make your engagement letters which has limitation of liability and which has indemnity also, and which restricts your liability to one-time of the fees unless it is decided by the court. That is one necessary. Second is always get covered by PIID.
How the 30 lakhs was derived by the court? It's just a random.
Ah.
आज सपने में आया उसने ऐसे-
It's something the
No,
audit
it was-
fees with inflation, how much to
No,
audit
it was-
fees is totally wrong.
No, there I think it was some transaction and then no transaction.
Maybe
that was
transaction.
50% something.
Normally the best is audit
The
fees.
loss that was incurred by one of the persons whose
Yeah,
basis
exactly.
they could was not. But that is too heavy.
No, even for IPs also like that.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely.
IBs is the IB.
I've done 18, 19 cases by now. But the life for IPs is more than hell.
Starting it was too much of boom, but now it is very difficult to survive as an IB because IB institution is
For anything and everything there is a peculiar liability.
There is a big thing.
And along with that, your registration is cancelled.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Padmashi, one thing I think for the things out there, this audit trail and many of us who are doing these SME audits, keep in mind that wherever you have to report, there is a reflection in all the clauses which she's mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
If you miss that also of the audit trail, then there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
case of misreporting. Please keep in mind because we may think tally है तो सब कुछ है नहीं चलेगा. This is the one of the India case where audit trail is applicable. Nowhere in world right or so far. Right?
Yeah, no, but audit trail is not reporting by auditor. It is only in that the IS audit report or the company's IS audit report specifically, there they ask for audit trail. Here it is on statutory auditors is nowhere there in the world.
I think it's a topic by itself, but since it's touched upon, it's very important for an audit report to keep in mind. I'm just touching
Yeah, it can have a reverse implication as we saw. Like audit trail is not there, then it can have a reverse implication on the entire maintenance of books of account itself. So then you have to be, you don't know when they change the records basically. That's what it means.
It's the only topic where I see the guidance from twice in a year. Right? In my career. July में
Great, thanks. I hope it was helpful.
No, indeed, it was a very great, insightful session. You have brought all the practical aspects, how to handle these inspections, what precautions we should take as a auditor or as a management as well. So on behalf of WRC and all the members present here, I present a vote of thanks and would request again to give a big round of applause for our speaker, Padma. With this, we end our session for today.